I'm Tim Etchells. I'm Artistic Director of Forced Entertainment, which is an experimental theatre company, or it's a theatre company. It's an ensemble of artists working together in Sheffield since 1984.
My name's George. I'm 14 and I was born in London.
My name's Sarah. I'm 14 and I was born in London.
I'm Ruari. I'm 14 and I live in St Albans.
I'm Hester Chillingworth. I'm a maker and theatre director, and I've worked with Tim and Forced Entertainment in various capacities over the last 10 years.
Well, really it's linked to adults, and it's about the lies that we're told by adults and the things that they say that influence us as children. And it's about what adults think and how we as children maybe take from that and what we think, and putting the concept of that into a performance.
The performance was meant to be a moment of confrontation. It was like saying, well, here we are arranged for you as a school photograph, all standing in a nice little line, all speaking chorally, it's all very lovely. But guess what? This is what you do. This is what you do. This is what you do. This is what you do.
It's sort of an opportunity for them to speak out more or less as themselves. I mean, obviously, it is, it's not their words, but we talked a lot about how they're not pretending to be a character, or they're not acting a story or making something up. It's about bringing your own frustrations or your own curiosities or your own insecurities or your own questions to this opportunity to speak to the adult audience.
We are the new generation, and we are the ones who will change the world and make the new decisions. And as time goes on, people will get smarter and smarter and smarter, and eventually we'll reach a point where everyone will be equal, and young people and adults will have the same type of mentality and understand each other better more than we are now.
Young people can portray or tell people such a strong message, and to adults, especially when it's younger people and children telling you this message of, we know that you lie to us and we know that you do these things, and we sometimes appreciate you and sometimes we don't, and especially with the climate change march right now.
So maybe to speak about That Night Follows Day and the start of it, because the first production of it was in, I think, 2007, and I had an invitation from what was then called Victoria in Ghent, which is now called Campo, and they had a kind of, one of their missions was the idea of working with young people to make performances for adult audiences.
I think Forced Entertainment learnt that, well, I'm not sure, but I think that they learnt that young people are sometimes a lot better than older people. I know that a lot of the young people in our play were a lot smarter and a lot more, hard-hitting and hard-working and more focused than most of the 11s I know, and they were 8. And so I think they learnt that, and depending on the people that they get, if they get the good right of people, then they have, no matter what age limit they are, they will always find hard-working people.
And on the last night, the final night of the whole show, I said to Joelle, do you realise that if you hadn't done that in that exercise, that section of the show wouldn't be there? And she kind of brushed it off and didn't seem too bothered. But I really wanted her to understand that that is collaborating and that is devising, and that it is that the value of that is huge. And it wasn't that we let that bit be in the show. In fact, it was an amazing offer. It was so fantastic, so rich, so much better than what any of us could have thought of. And just by her kind of really bringing herself to the exercise, with no agenda, because she wasn't planning to make a piece of the show. She was just offering herself into the exercise, and that's when you make really good things happen.
So I want to say it was about 50-50 in terms of whose input was whose. You know, the ideas maybe started from the adults, and Hester and we would be able to put our own ideas in as well. And I think between us, you know, Hester would listen to what we had to say and really incorporate that into what we did. And I think, you know, we were all of us were able to have an input and say, you know, what we thought about the script or what we thought about in rehearsals.
Like George said, we were able to put our own stuff in it. So it wasn't a very strict curriculum for us. So we added the languages when we were saying our names and what we promised to do, and we added a lot more stuff.
In a way, it's a political consciousness raised. It also gets them to think about the power structures that they're in, and about the different ways in which they, as a diverse group of young people, might occupy those power structures.